So other sports besides football, what codes have you had the most luck in?
Yeah, it's interesting to say. I suppose I'm not nearly as good in the other pools, but probably rugby. I'm up there.
Because of course how Superbru works, we were chatting about this earlier, you obviously get, for rugby for example, you get an additional point or a half point if you guess the score within 5 points.
Yeah.
How does it work with football and other sports?
So with other sports, cricket for instance, it's how many you have to always choose before the game kicks off. So there's no way to see in a cricket who wins the toss or anything like that. Once your picks are made, they're final, which is another rule, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so in soccer, cricket, it works by the number of wickets or the number of runs. So you've just got to go with your gut, which makes it a little bit harder because sometimes batting first will change the whole complexity of a game. But you've made your pick, like I do, Monday or Tuesday, and the game's played on Saturday. So you're pretty stuffed on that angle. But soccer is a little bit more complicated. You have to get the result right, win, lose or draw, and then the closer you are to the exact score, the more sort of bonus margin points you get. So rugby is quite easy. Within 5, you get a margin point. In your specific pool that you're part of, if you've just got a work thing or some mates, whoever's got the one guy closest to all of that, he gets an added little bonus point, they call it. In any round, if you get all the results right, you get a Grand Slam point. Which is obviously that helps to leapfrog a couple of guys because that's like about 3 extra points, which doesn't hurt your tally. So yeah, that's pretty much how scoring works.
And do you think that guys that excel in these kind of sports prediction leagues and fantasy leagues, are they particularly from a sporting background, or are they just sports mad? I mean, do you know any examples of guys that have just guessed randomly and done well?
No, I don't think you can. You need to know a little bit about the sport. You don't need to be an expert by any means. Sort of the average armchair critic going forward. But yeah, so there's a little bit of an interesting angle. Especially one of my mates played in Super Rugby last year against a former hotshot first team rugby player at the school we went to, and they had a little bit of a bet who would win Super Rugby. My mates who didn't play rugby but played other sports, he made all his picks before the whole competition started, the home team by 6. So no matter who was playing where, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, everything, home team by 6. My other mate thinks he knows a little bit about rugby, played the game, played at UCT for a little bit as well. He made all his picks before, knowing the weather conditions, knowing the team, the injuries. I mean, it was a massacre. Home team by 6 absolutely thumped him. Home team by 6, in fact, came in the top 100 in the world. If not higher, and my other mate came nowhere. He was in the hundreds of thousands.
And final question: do you think that sports? Well, I was actually going to ask you. I mean, have you thought about actually getting into some serious sports betting and actually making? Maybe you could make a living from it. And do you think sports betting in general is something that's really taking off in South Africa? I mean, I know it's huge in the UK, Australia, etc.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, sports betting is definitely something that's taking off big time in South Africa. For me personally, it's a lot different when to put your money where your mouth is, because United play away at Chelsea. I'm still reluctant to say Chelsea win, even though they probably will. And especially if you have to do that with your own cash, that's a whole different story. But lots of guys are getting involved in definitely in sports betting and trying to do what I'm doing on Superbru is making the most out of a few lucky guesses and some few educated picks, as they call them.
So it's really just about bragging rights.
For me, it's about bragging rights, yeah. And it's also about other guys.
Aren't you tired of winning all the time?
No, what I am tired of is not winning and having my mates who beat me. You always get the emails and the texts and the screenshots and the screen grabs every Monday to say how they're doing as opposed to me. So yeah, I've got to keep my sort of reputation intact.